Welcome everybody to another, excuse me, yes, we have multiple people in the background, but you can't see them. But welcome to another Web Tools TV. And today our guest is Daniel Zeevi from Dashburst. Welcome, Daniel, and nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Deborah, and thank you for having me.
Sure thing. As many of you know watching these, I really actually enjoy meeting people live. That way you're really a part of the, it's Web Tools TV Live. You're seeing us as we meet. So these questions that I'll have for you, Daniel, are going to be genuine because we actually don't know each other.
That's true.
So let's start, because this is Web Tools TV is like a 15-minute quick, let's get to know the people behind the brand. So let's start out by having you introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself. If you want to go back to childhood, you're welcome, but you definitely don't have to tell us every detail of your life.
Sure, I'm Daniel Zeevi, the founder of Dashburst, and we're a new multimedia blogging platform and social network that just launched several weeks ago.
Excellent. And I'm trying to stick, true to form and ask you about you. And Daniel, I really, even just meeting you, I do care about you and about who you're all, the essence of Daniel. But I'm also dying to know about Dashburst because it's something that, other than just kind of looking at it, I haven't used it, but it intrigues me. And I was asking a friend last night, David Leonhard, I don't know if you've seen that, he's on Dashburst and he uses it quite a bit. And he had favorable things to say. I won't quote him right now, I'll let him quote himself if he writes an article about Dashburst, but he sent me some links. So, but I want to hear from you. What is Dashburst?
Well, it's basically a blogging platform that incorporates a lot of different kind of content. Whether you're a photographer or an artist or a blogger, basically you can share any kind of content that you care about and create, and that includes like photography, music, videos, writing, article links, documents. So we're looking to bring together a lot of different kinds of niche content and popular content all in one, multimedia platform, and it kind of makes your social media a little bit friendlier and gives you different kinds of tools to share content with your friends and follow people and brands and artists that you care about, all basically in one place for the first time.
Wow. Okay. I'm getting several thoughts like colliding as you're describing this. And I don't mean to compare you to other brands, but just to get a feel and for our audience to kind of understand. It sounds a little bit like, part Tumblr, part Facebook. It almost looks kind of Sue-like in some ways. Obviously different. I'm not meaning to compare you to anything, but is it sort of more like Tumblr, for example, than a WordPress.com?
Sure. I think Tumblr is a good comparison. We're kind of like a Tumblr meets YouTube and SoundCloud and Flickr in one, where basically we're giving more content control to the creators. So, people who share videos on YouTube like to add different kinds of, titles and licenses to their content, be able to control the way the covers of their videos look. So we're looking to, extend a lot of the things that Tumblr does and make it into, bring more niche content, support for documents and infographics, and give more control over to the creators, as well as different avenues of exploration, whether you want to search, popular feeds or your friends' music or your favorite artists' photography. So it's a little bit more intelligent as far as the filtering and exploration goes.
Okay. Now, again, multiple thoughts, and maybe I just ADD or something, but as I'm listening to you, I'm thinking of, for example, you mentioned Flickr, and you mentioned licensing. So I'm picturing that your platform, that Dashburst, allows like you said, the person that's actually is creating the content to, rather than fitting into some template of the licensing, to define that more granularly than, say, Flickr would?
Sure. Flickr allows you to add licenses like Creative Commons licenses, and we support those. And we also have a Dashburst license, which makes it a little bit easier to use than a Flickr, where you kind of say, okay, I'd like to just use the copyrights that are already associated with the image or wherever else you're hosting it, and just kind of use our blanket license, sort of like YouTube does, to make it a lot easier for creators to share their content, and as well as other people who are looking to source other content that might not be exactly theirs, but they do have the actual rights to share it as long as they, attribute it to the author or creator properly.
Right. That makes sense. Now you mentioned musicians, and I don't want to insult MySpace wherever they're at right now, but a bunch of us musicians kind of like got out of the habit of using MySpace when it really shifted. And MySpace used to, years ago, be a spot where there's a lot of discussion going on. You go to the favorite artist, whatever, but then you'd have these comments, discussions, it was, it was so new, it was so different. It was, it sounds like when you're describing that Dashburst allows to kind of bring some of that back as far as that discussion around, let's say, your favorite artist and their music. Does that sound about, am I getting it?
Sure. I mean, we're looking to promote collaboration and discussion as much as possible. We also have, some SoundCloud-like features where you can share lists of your music, and we're looking to add other features every day, like creating collections of music and other kinds of exciting features for musicians to make their songs look awesome, basically, when they're sharing it on social media, and other exciting kind of audio and editing features, even
Wow.
beyond audio, for photography and things like that. So we're really looking to add some cool new features every day to the platform, and it's out there now. So we encourage musicians, photographers, artists all to sign up, and everyone's feedback is welcome. We're looking to do everything we can for the community. We really support creativity and art in all its forms. So that's pretty much our goal.
Wow. It sounds like you've almost, and maybe it's just me feeling nostalgic and missing some of the features. How social platforms change, websites change. YouTube used to have that ability to reply to videos with videos, but it sounds like listening to you as if you're picking up some of these things that we as a community fell in love with on other websites and pulling them into Dashburst.
Sure, and we definitely have the ability to comment and collaborate on videos, and you can certainly share links inside the comments. We'd like to be able to have the ability to show videos and auto detect videos, things like that, and that's all coming to. One thing that we're a little bit different from YouTube is in the sense that we're looking to keep it more of a positive type community, where if you read the comments on YouTube these days, it's like kind of a free-for-all of a lot of negativity, a lot of excitement, just a lot of craziness, basically, where we're not looking to moderate the community so much, but I think just the vibe and the user base of Dashburst is very supportive and positive to start. So I'd like to keep it that way.
I like that. I'm into positive psychology, so I just don't read the comments on YouTube because I don't want to know. You'll watch something that's really caring, and then all of a sudden someone makes a racist comment, and it's like, why'd you have to do that on a YouTube?
It's a little crazy over there for sure.
Yeah.
But,
now I am curious, how do you manage that? Do you have to are you moderating comments or just keeping an eye on it? I mean, how do you, since obviously we can't control people, but how are you able to keep Dashburst positive?
Well, there is, the moderators are looking to make sure that people are, speaking in a positive light or sharing their thoughts that aren't, crossing the line, basically, where, if you're going too negative or you're, having too much hate in your comments, things like that, then we might look to warn people that, it's not that kind of community. Plus, you don't have the ability to dislike videos like you do on YouTube, and I think that brings a lot of the negativity itself just in the way the site is structured, where, when you can downvote and you can kind of look to be anonymous as far as your comments, that makes things a little bit different as far as, bringing out the positivity in people.
That's a good point. And, I think, and please correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm misrepresenting you in any way, but I would imagine that when you're talking about being positive, you're not saying that everybody has to agree. You can have a dissenting opinion, but it's about how you present yourself. That's not an opportunity to insult the creator. So I'm just saying, hey, have you thought of this? Or,
Sure. And, I mean, there's going to be negative comments. It's not like we're looking to, police everything to that degree, but I think just the way the platform is set up, that it really encourages supportiveness amongst the community. And that's really the type of user base we see have joined already. And just by having more artists on the site in general, I think they're a little bit more, you know, they feel a little bit more inclined to communicate positively with their neighbors, basically, as they all look to kind of support their own creativity together and promote their content.
That's a good point. So you've created a positive community, so it just kind of encourages positivity. It begets
Right, it's like
positivity.
a snowball effect where everybody's happy, they're sharing their content, and really featuring a lot of smaller artists at this point. We've had some pretty big photographers showing up, and we're encouraging indie musicians and things like that. So I think the fact that as an indie musician or someone who's just getting started can get so much love from our community to start, it just makes it so encouraging that if they were to post their video on YouTube, it would be like crickets or just one person saying something stupid, and it's not like there's not a lot of love to go around on YouTube compared to a site like Dashverse. It's just getting started and really looking to bring in our administrators and curators into basically encouraging people and communicating with them and helping them make their content as interesting as possible, and really looking to collaborate with the community itself. So there's a lot of curation going on, a lot of discussions with the initial users of how to make it better. And I think everybody just feels like it's more of a community than most other social networks you would see.
That's excellent. And that's really a tribute to you too, Daniel, for creating this and your vision. And now that I've spent 8 minutes asking about the product, I really do want to know about Daniel. And did this come to you like in a dream or something, or did the idea for Dashverse? Like, how old is Dashverse, for example?
Well, we've been actually developing it for quite some time. The site has been in theory going on for about 3 years, and maybe at least 2 years of development. Basically, we started a while back as more of a aggregator of content was the idea, where Dashverse was like a dashboard of social media. But we saw that a lot of sites like Facebook and Twitter and Google were starting to become very close-minded in their fire hose of data, where you saw Twitter was shutting down their services to other platforms that were trying to extract data from them. And
sorry.
Basically, we thought that building a business model using the data and the content of other social networks was a bad idea. And we said, hey, maybe we could create our own community of sharing content and bringing all these different content types together, make that into an original dashboard to share and explore content, and that kind of born the pivot of what Dashverse was. And so instead of tweeting something, you can burst it, and that's kind of like our brand, our button.
Okay. All right, that's starting to make sense. Because again, I was talking to David last night, and he said, Dashverse has been around for a while, but this is a very new direction. And Daniel, you said what, within the last month?
Yeah, the platform just launched several weeks ago.
Okay.
We've been developing it for several years, so it's kind of funny that David mentioned that, where we've been a magazine that's been out there for a while, and that's probably where I met David first. Other people who were using sites like Driver and other bloggers, things like that. And so the magazine that we have basically looks to feature creative content. So we've been covering photographers, artists, musicians, ones that we don't know for the most part, just finding awesome stuff across the web. And now we're looking to kind of pull those users and those creatives into our community, and looking to cover the content that's on Dashverse and kind of build from there. So it's a lot more exciting these days than just a magazine was before. But we've certainly been out there for a while. So, there definitely have a nice user base of people just, who were excited to use the site to start with, people who've been following the magazine and our blogs for a while before that.
Excellent. Well, you've definitely stirred me up to go try the product. I'm pretty sure it's free. I know I signed up.
Oh, absolutely. yeah, you can create an account. You can basically share all the content you want and go from there.
Excellent. Okay, so Daniel, how do people find you? And you can answer that question a couple different ways. You can either say how to find you personally, or how to find Dash First, or both. So how do people find you?
You can go to dashfirst.com and join the site. You can find me on the site for the most part. I'm always there. You can find us on Facebook or Twitter, LinkedIn, and just look for dashfirst.com.
There you go. And guys, if you're watching the video, you can see the spelling right there. When it pops back to Daniel on his lower third, and you'll be able to find it. And I found you really easy on Twitter. So yes, what he says is true. It's easy to find Dash First out there.
Yeah.
Well, Daniel, thank you so much for joining us. And ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. And now you have an assignment to go sign up for Dash First if you haven't already. And if you are a user, why don't you go share something between now and the Twitter chat that I believe is happening in about 45 minutes. And if I misquoted that, I'm sorry. Go look for Michael Q. Todd because he's running a Twitter chat, I believe. And Daniel, will you be on that chat?
I will be. I will hop on
Excellent.
soon. So
Excellent.
we appreciate having me on, and look forward to seeing you on Dash First soon.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks all for tuning in. We'll see you same time, same place next week on Web Tools TV.